Today is National Grief Awareness Day. You know, grief is a topic that has touched all of us, but finding a new normal after a profound loss can be difficult.
So our next guest is the visionary behind the nonprofit Celebrate Still and is committed to normalizing grief and helping people navigate these challenging times. Welcome to Kimberli Gross. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
This is like a tough day to celebrate because I'm sure it's bringing back a lot of memories for people.
It is, but it's exciting. I think pain always has a purpose, right? So I'm a church baby. I tell people I believe I was born on a church pew. So pain always has a purpose. So when you can take something that has been hard, but then turn it around to help somebody else and make it a little better for them, then you've done your job at the end of the day.
Yeah, so. I love that. How did you start on this journey? Before you answer that, I'm just going to move just your hair because we want to hear your story. Okay, there we go.
So let's just put that back.
There we go. Yeah, how did this come to be for you?
So this year, 2024, marks the 20th anniversary of my mom passing away.
Sorry.
So very traumatic time. But also it's been a period of growth, right? So when she passed away, that was my very first experience with death.
Okay.
And I didn't handle it as best as I probably could have. My faith is super strong, so that wasn't an issue, but my goal now is to help others. So combining faith and education to provide other people with tools that I probably could have used then, just to make it a little bit just to understand that grief is normal, right? And it affects all of us. So that's where that came from.
But probably better to deal with it than not, right? If you don't deal with it, it kind of manifests itself into something worse.
Absolutely. 5 years ago, I was at a brunch, a Mother's Day brunch with my best friend who was the preacher for that event, or the guest speaker. And it was the worst experience ever. It was so bad. I was excited, of course, to be there to support her, but you're sitting in a room with other people and their moms, and everybody's like, hugging and loving, and you're like, well, nobody's sitting next to me. And so it was that moment. I had a very transparent prayer with the Lord, and I'm like, I can't do this again. So that started this movement to create space for other people.
Well, and now you host your own Mother's Day brunch, right?
Absolutely.
That you have a few, like the holidays, Mother's Day, you host events to help people through the time?
It started with our Mother's Day brunch. It started with a very small group. I think we had about 50 attendees. So now we're moving into year 4. And this past year we had 100 attendees, and I have some amazing sponsors. My biggest sponsor is KDW Catering, because they come in, they do the food for us. But it's a great space for other people to know that you're not by yourself.
Aside from having that, what other resources do you provide to people?
So I've also authored a couple books, namely journals. So my biggest one is Living Shattered, and that's also the name of our grief support group, which is in person. So we offer in-person grief support groups, and I can either facilitate, or I'm also helping ministries. I really like working with churches, helping them to start a grief support ministry in their church.
Okay.
Yep.
I know, because you don't lose the person just once. It's all these events, all the times when you wish they were there. There's that loss that you're living with your grief from that moment on.
So my goal is to help people learn how to find a new normal, because holidays aren't going to go away. Events aren't going to go away. You drive down the street, you see your mom's car, that may be a trigger. So how do you handle those moments? So it's really all about finding a new normal, a new rhythm to get back into the swing of life.
I feel like, too, it's not something you should be doing on your own. You should find somebody that's been through it, can help you along as well, like you, Kimberli. Thank you so much.
Thank
Appreciate
you
you sharing your story.
I know you're so active on Instagram, too, so you can follow her on Instagram. It's at hey.40 and get so much more advice.